All in.
I call.
Vanessa calls! Dan Shak does have 11 outs. It's a 10!
That was not supposed to happen.
The evolution of Dan Shak has been something truly special.
Yeah, and we mean that in the genuine sense, not the backhanded one.
We've seen him grow from recreational hedge fund mogul to a real force to be reckoned with at the poker table. But don't take our word for it. Behold.
And be like and be subscribe.
He calls. Trickett folds. Richard Young is out. Mike Watson gives up the small blind. Mike McDonald's got pocket fives in the big blind.
Daniel's not a rampant 3-better, but Mike's getting some great immediate odds and implied odds to try to flop a set.
Three-way to the flop. King 8-4.
Best hand stays best.
McDonald missed the flop completely. He checks.
You'd expect Dan Shaquille O'Neal to c-bet here most of the time, though.
Sure enough, he continues for 25,000.
Even if Daniel didn't hate folding like a chef hates ketchup, he'll probably still call.
He does call. Mike McDonald folds, so heads up to the turn. Two players who both had second place finishes in Super High Roller events. A 9 on the turn, a set for Negreanu.
30. 30.
Dan Shak, now with a gut shot, bets 30,000.
I like a just call from Daniel. Most of the time, Dan's going to be drawing dead. At the moment, he's only nearly dead.
The river is a jack. That's the nut straight for Shak.
I should not have just said that. Worst part for Daniel is with Dan's stack size, he can go for max value.
He bets it all. Negreanu calls. And Shak will double up.
Hit a set.
It's so sick.
3 9s. How much has he got?
Well, we're going to sweat with Fabian Quass. We'll only see his hole cards on this next hand.
What's a 5-letter word for German high roller? Starts with the letter Q. Just working on this crossword puzzle.
He has 7-4 suited on the button.
Since we can flop a straight with it, technically this is a suited connector, and on the button it's perfectly fine to raise with it 3-handed.
Fabian makes it 240,000. Dan Shak in the big blind.
Now, even though Dan's going to be calling pretty wide on the button, I don't think we're going to be ahead very often. Best to proceed with caution.
Shak defends. Quass with the betting lead and in position.
That's us.
And a 4-high flop.
Hey, top pair, let's get it in. Kidding.
Shak checks.
Totally fine with a check behind here. I'm cool to get to showdown already.
8 on the turn.
Well, he's not checking again.
Shak leads for 250,000.
Well, we're not really beating much, but also not much is beating us. Does that make sense?
Quass calls. The river is a 7. 2 pair for Fabian.
Boom. Nice.
And Shak bets again, 325,000.
Kind of a fan of just calling here because I don't see a lot of worse hands being able to call us. But this is where the pros really go for the gusto and the value.
Fabian elects to raise. Makes it 800,000.
Come on.
And Shak shoves.
Really?
I guess this is a fold.
Thought you were off tilt.
If I were making a list of players capable of 3-bet bluffing the river, Dan wouldn't even make honorable mention, so I'm afraid this is a fold.
Quass gives up 2 pair, and Dan was bluffing.
Show me the bluff.
Ouch.
1 card.
Turnover 1.
Nah.
Turnover 1.
Turn over. Gotta be a 5. Nope, 7.
I didn't have 5-6.
I have underestimated this man.
That's true.
Turns out he's an animal.
King 10 in the cutoff for Olashemian.
I've decided I'm just going to call him Hala Shemian. Hala!
He raises to 45,000, gets a fold from Phil Gruesome on the button.
Hala!
Tony Gregg in the small blind. Gives it up. Dan Shak in the big blind. has ace-10.
Get me the president on the phone. The president of Domination Nation.
Shak defends.
Way ahead of Holla's range, but no need to play a huge pot with it.
Shemian flops best. Shak with a gut shot and a backdoor flush draw.
Well, leading here would be weird.
He leads for 100K.
Dan's turning his hand into a bluff, which is actually a fine play in some spots, but it's almost got too much value to do this here.
Shemian calls. And we go to the turn, which is the deuce of diamonds. Shemian now an 84% favorite.
Now, if Dan's going to play it that way on the flop, I do like another bet here. Of course, it's not going to work this time.
He does bet again, 175,000.
Still don't think Allah can go anywhere with top pair decent kicker.
And he will call a second time.
Dan's left himself a pot-sized bet behind.
The river is the 9 of clubs.
And Dan should probably fire on this card as well.
All in.
He shoves.
Oh, that is a really nice shove.
From Shemian's perspective, a lot of flop draws just got there.
I haven't seen a shove this sick since the first episode of Game of Thrones.
Shemian with the best hand. Can he find a hero call?
I really think this might get through.
Shemian folds.
And even though he folded the best hand, I think Allah played it perfectly. No one's really going to expect Dan Shak to have that move as a part of his arsenal at this stage of the tournament. Guess it pays to be a beschneffly billionaire outside of poker.
Esfandiari raises with ace-3, makes it 120K.
He's got the stack to open this hand if he wants.
Ace-jack for Vanessa Selps in the small blind. The chip leader calls.
Even with a huge stack, Vanessa playing this cautiously.
Dan Shak with 9-10 of clubs in the big blind, and he calls as well for an additional 60,000.
He's getting great immediate pot odds with suited connectors, and he's actually the favorite three-ways.
Three-way to the flop, which gives Vanessa top pair, second pair for Dan Shak, plus a flush draw, plus a backdoor straight draw.
Oh boy, this could get uglier than Quato from Total Recall.
Well, it doesn't look like Vanessa intends to play in flow. She leads for 165,000.
To just call pre-flop from the small blind and then lead here, Vanessa's range is rarely nothing.
400.
Dan Shak raises to 400,000, gets an insta-fold from Antonio Esfandiari.
This board is super wet, which is going to make Vanessa not worry so much about sets and two pairs. If Dan had a super monster and Vanessa led into him, wouldn't he probably just call and let her lead again on the turn? It's free money. So no, I don't see Vanessa folding top pair, top kicker here.
Call.
She calls. There is now 1.25 million in the middle. Huge pot building here on the bubble, and there are 3 guys at the table running on vapor. The board pairs on the turn. Vanessa now a 3-1 favorite. She checks.
All in.
And Shak shoves!
OMG ICM suicide. I commend Dan Shak for having stones so big. They are now considered the islands of the Bahamas, but this bluff is risking crazy amounts of real money against a person with a stupid strong range.
I call.
Vanessa calls! And Dan Shak is at risk of bubbling the super high roller.
What a ridiculous sweat. Everyone is just giddy with the prospect of making the money. It's like they're 8 and someone announced a pizza party.
The short stacks don't believe it.
Yeah, these two, not quite as giddy. What an unnecessarily huge pot.
Dan Shak does have 11 outs. He can hit a club or a 10 on the river. It's a 10!
That was not supposed to happen. He's doing a victory lap. He's coming back.
Dan Shak doubles up and takes the chip lead from Vanessa Selbst.
I just didn't think you'd...
Dan, don't say anything. Don't. Too late.
I just lost like 2 million chips. I lost 2 million chips. Dan got me on the river, yeah. He pushed on the turn, I called, and he had 11 outs. Yeah. I just lost 2 million chips. No. He raised, and then he just jammed on a bluff, or like a semi-bluff, and I called. And
And he got there. That's the crucial part of the story, Miranda. He got there.
How does Vanessa always find herself in these situations on TV tables?
Particularly brutal for her, not so much because she might bubble now, but because she was in such a great spot to win this tournament.
Nice hand, Shaq.
No. Bad hand.
Hard to make it better, hard to make it better and a flush draw, whatever.
I'm trying to win.
I understand.
But obviously I didn't like seeing that hand.